Now, in this part, we are going to see the brutality involved in the birth of modern psychology. In those centuries, that is 16th or 17th, it is considered that mental illness is due to soul. Asylum was the concept where these mental patients kept and were brutally tortured because it is considered that their soul is disturbed. See the early treatment for mental patients. Blood is taken out from their body slowly because it is considered that if blood goes out, then that madness will go out. The patients were tied up very sharply for years after years. After all this brutality comes the pioneer of compassion. There were certain persons, or doctors say, in 1785 to 1828 century, where all this modern psychology developed, and those reformers says that a mad person is not a sinner but a patient who needs treatment and not the punishment. Also, the madness is not inside the soul, it is inside the brain. But still, those persons believed in ghost also. That Benjamin Rush was the first person who sees this mad person with great compassion. But still in his mind too, concept of ghost was there, that certain ghost inside the body so that the madness comes. Then crisis of modernity comes, that in the era, particularly in England and America, almost 150,000 people or 200,000 people died due to the brutal environment inside the factories. Then the earth faces World War I from 1914 to 1918. This brutal war gives so much madness among the soldiers, so much types of illness and other things. So, the insulin doses seem to be useful in certain patients, while electric shock treatments were given to many students, and lobotomy means taking out some part of the brain. All these things were brutal. Then comes the era where search inside the skull means type of skulls were studied. It was the concept that physical look and the constitution of human being or the personality of human being depends on the shape of the skull, and so the so many shape of the skulls were studied, and that study is called as phrenology. This phrenology were very popular for almost 50 years, where so many scientists studied the thousands of shapes of human body, skull shape, and concluded certain theories. Also, the skull of so many animals were cut down and studied, and those similarities were applied to human beings. But later on, it was said that the human personality is not directly proportional to the shape of human skull. So this phrenology was soon died after 50 years, and now again the search inside the brain has been started. Now that so many legacy of sufferings and why there are pain and madness, it was for study. What did all these sufferings ultimately accomplish? Why there are certain disorders? The patients were circled in electric chairs for higher RPM, and effects were studied. Thousands and crores of people died in these experiments, unfortunately. But whether the death of all those human beings were wasted, unfortunately, I have to say that no. So many people died, but due to their death, the human or modern psychology comes into being. The study over all those people was not wasted, and modern psychology is developed into new era. Thank you.